If you just got the AirPods 4, there's probably a lot more to them than you realize. So in this video, I'm going to show you the first 16 things that you need to do and some tips and tricks that you need to know to get the most out of your AirPods 4. And these tips will be useful if you've had AirPods before or if these are your first pair of AirPods. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is set up your AirPods 4 so they get the best sound quality possible, because that's not how they come. So go into your settings and find your AirPods 4, and this works for both the active noise cancellation version and the regular AirPods 4, and then go down here until you see personalized spatial audio. Go into there and you want to tap on personalized spatial audio. And once you get to this screen, go to continue, and it's going to give you a mini tutorial, but all you want to do is just hold your phone up to your face, like head on, like you're doing Face ID, and then just turn your head left to right to capture a live photo of your ears. There we go. So now it says personalized spatial audio. I've completed the setup. Let's go to done. And that's it. That's all you need to do. And now what's going to happen is that Apple uses those images that it just took to create an algorithm to ensure that you have the best sound quality possible for your specific ears. And if you already had this set up on another pair of AirPods, you might want to tap on stop using and rescan your ears, since the AirPods 4 do have a slightly different fit and the design is a little bit different than past AirPods as well. So just redo that process if you've done it previously. Now, the next thing you want to do applies to the active noise cancellation model only. So what you want to do is go into your settings for your AirPods and then go into the adaptive audio section, because in here you want to customize your adaptive audio. So do you want to allow less environmental noise? Do you want the transparency mode to work less, or do you want transparency to work more and allow more environmental noise when in adaptive audio mode? That's what you need to set. And by the way, if you want to turn adaptive audio on, you just go into your volume slider here, haptic press on that, and then go to noise control right here and change this to adaptive. And you'll know it's turned on when you see that little rainbow behind it. Now, the next thing you need to do is know how to reset your AirPods 4 if needed, because this time it's different than anything we've seen on AirPods before. And that's because we do not have an actual button on the AirPods, not on the front or on the back. All we have is an accelerometer built in to the front, which is where you see that light. So to reset your AirPods 4, if they won't charge, if you're having connection issues, if you want to connect to another device, or just fix any issue that you might run into, to reset them, you just need to have the AirPods in the case itself and then open up the case, and then you want to double tap 3 times in a row. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then after that, you will see that it's blinking that white light right there, and that will reset your AirPods 4. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is make your life easier when sending messages via Siri on your AirPods. So go into your settings, and we're going to go down to notifications. And in here, you want to go to announce notifications, and you want to go to the reply without confirmation toggle and either turn that on or turn that off. I would recommend turning that on. That way you don't need to confirm that you want to send a message when you're going to reply to a message or a notification. Because if you have this turned off, Siri is going to read back the message that you just said before sending it and ask to make sure you want to send it. But if you turn this setting on, it will just send the message or send, the notification without you having to confirm it. And that leads me right to the next thing you need to do, and that is to configure announce notifications so you do not get interrupted when listening to music, a podcast, or during your workouts. So you want to have announce notifications on, just because there are certain notifications that you will want to hear in your ears, via your AirPods, but you want to go down here and turn off announce notifications from any application that is not, vital to your life. So like calendar, I have enabled. I have things like my doorbell, really important applications I have announce notifications turned on for, but for 98%, you should turn this off. Okay, so the next thing you need to do is set up your head gestures, and this works for both the AirPods 4 and the AirPods 4 with ANC. So go into your settings here and then go down, and you will see that we have right down here under microphone, head gestures. This is a new feature with iOS 18, and of course the AirPods 4, both models, do get access to this feature. So this is turned on by default, so you will not need to turn this on, but you might want to turn this off if you don't like the feature or change how it works. So the way this works is if you have your AirPods in your ears and you start getting a phone call, if you shake your head up and down like you're saying yes, it will answer that phone call. Or if you shake your head side to side like you're saying no, it will decline that phone call. And this also works for notifications as well. So this feature works surprisingly well on the AirPods 4. But if you want to change, what they do, if you want the accept to be side to side, if you want these to be opposite, you can go in there and change them. Now, the next thing you need to do is understand that you can wirelessly charge your AirPods 4 with an Apple Watch charger. So if you have an Apple Watch charger, you can go ahead and wirelessly charge, or if you have a Qi charger, you can set it on the Qi charger and wirelessly charge no problem. However, the magnets inside are not strong enough for MagSafe, so it's not going to work with any MagSafe devices. It will still charge, it just won't stick because the magnets are not strong enough. Meanwhile, the AirPods 4 without ANC, this case will not wirelessly charge at all, so you will always need to use a USB-C cable to charge up this case. So I just mentioned that you can't charge via MagSafe, but what if I told you you can? You just need to get one of these awesome cases from our sponsor ESR. So this is the Cyber Flick Lock case, and because it has magnets inside, either AirPods 4 model can charge via MagSafe with ease, and this thing sticks on there. It's strong, and it's also strong when it comes to drops, which you might need because of how small this AirPods 4 case is. But anyway, ESR has combined strong magnets with this internal latch mechanism here to keep your AirPods safe and sound when you drop them, not if, when you drop them. And this case may look big and bad, but it's really simple to open with one hand thanks to that slide button and latch. So it kind of just slides open like that, and if you don't pull it open, it'll kind of automatically close itself as well, which is very convenient. But if you don't like that style, ESR also has the Orbit Hybrid case, which has a magnetic locking lid and the same strong magnets inside for effortless MagSafe charging, and it also has solid drop protection thanks to the outer hard shell. So if you're looking for an AirPods 4 case, check out ESR. These are rock solid cases, and there's not really a lot of good AirPods cases out there, so check them out, links in the description below. Now, the next thing you need to do is switch your voice mode to voice isolation when you're on a call if there's background noise. This makes a big difference. So swipe down from the top right of your screen and then tap up here in the top middle where it says controls, and then from here you get the option between standard, voice isolation, wide spectrum, or automatic. It's on automatic by default, but you might want to switch that to voice isolation if you're in an area where there's background noise. Now here's a setting that goes very overlooked with AirPods, and that is the connect to this iPhone setting. So most people just overlook this and keep this on automatically, and this has to do with the automatic switching feature, which can be very convenient, but it can also be pretty annoying. So if you find it more annoying than convenient, you might want to change this to when last connected to this iPhone. And what this does is it will only try to auto connect your AirPods when they were the last device connected to this phone. Okay, so while we're in here, I do want to talk about some of the more basic settings in your AirPods settings menu. So first off, you do have noise control, which is right there. You can change, what mode your AirPods are in. However, the easier way to access that is just going to your volume slider and haptic pressing, and you can always change that down here, like I showed earlier. And then below that, we have press and hold AirPods. So what this means is when you press and hold on the stem of your AirPods, what happens? And you can change this on a left and right basis. So you can have this set to be either noise control, or you could have it set to trigger Siri. So if you don't like using your voice to trigger Siri, you can press and hold on an AirPod to trigger that. Or you also have noise control options, and from here you just select in which modes you want to cycle between when you press and hold on the stem. So for example, if I have off, adaptive, and noise cancellation selected, that means that if I press and hold 3 different times, it's going to cycle between those 3 different options. Now if I add transparency in there, it's going to cycle between all 4 of those modes. So you can have that set to whatever you use most often. And then below that, we have our call controls. So if you take calls on your AirPods, which I would recommend, it's very convenient, you do have the option for mute and unmute. So if you only want to press that once to mute, you can have that set. Or if you want to press twice, like a double tap, you can set that to mute. So then below that, we do have in call. So you do want to have one set to once and one set to twice. And then if you go down to the microphone section, you could also choose which AirPod is going to be the microphone permanently. So if you only use one AirPod, maybe throughout the day, you might want to have this set up so only that AirPod has the microphone active when you're on calls. Okay, so now let's talk about conversation awareness. So this is an ANC only feature. So this only works if you have transparency mode, because what this does is when you turn it on, it will lower your media volume that you're listening to and reduce background noise when you start speaking to other people. And this is extremely useful because it's gotten a lot better over the past year or so. So you can access this in the control center as well. So if you haptic press on your volume slider here, you'll see that in the middle, we have a conversation awareness toggle, and you can turn that on in there. So just know that that's in the control center, and you might want to have that enabled when you go out in public with your AirPods on. That way you could actually hear the other person without fiddling with your hands, when you start talking to somebody, especially if it's like a cashier or something like that. It really comes in handy. Okay, so this next feature works for both models of AirPods 4, and you want to set up custom audio settings to, once again, just get the best audio quality possible from your AirPods 4. So to do that, we need to go into our settings, go to accessibility, and then we're going to go down until we see audio and visual under the hearing section. Go into that, and from here we want to go into headphone accommodations. Make sure this is turned on, otherwise this will not show up. So once that's turned on, you will see we have custom audio setup. Go into that and it will show you a little splash screen of what you can achieve with custom audio. So go to continue, and from here, this is where you want to absolutely add an audiogram if you have one. This will make a pretty substantial difference in sound quality. So add this right here if you do have one. If not, just go ahead and tap on do not use, because you don't need that for this feature. So for this to work, you do need to have both your AirPods in your ears and make sure you are in a quiet environment. So we're going to go to continue, and then we get our recommended settings. So it says that based on my choices, vocal range has been boosted slightly. And I can compare this right here to the standard settings if I would like to, or you can go down here to just, not do the recommended settings, just use the standard settings. But I do like vocal range better than the lows sometimes. So I will go ahead and continue with my custom settings here. So tap on continue, and now it will show that I have my audio tuned for vocal range, and it also shows this little slider down here that has been customized based on my own custom audio setup. So I have soft sounds will be boosted slightly, moderately, or strongly. Mine was set to slight. So again, you can change this if you want to, but you will have to update your settings, and that will basically override, the custom audio that you just did. So now if we go back into our accessibility and into the audio and visual section, in here, there are a couple of other things that you might want to change or at least know about. So first off, we do have background sounds. So if you do like playing, background music like fire, bright noise, balanced noise, dark noise, ocean, rain, if you like having those sounds in your ears, maybe to, fall asleep for a nap, maybe if you're trying to concentrate, you can access that there. You could also access this in the control center. So if you go to the plus in the top left and go to add a control, you can add a background sounds toggle and always access that from the control center if you would like to. If that's something that you use frequently, that would be a good idea. And you have some additional settings for background sounds here as well. But below that, we have mono audio. So if you want to set your audio to be mono instead of stereo, you can have that set. And then right here, we have a voice isolation. So I would recommend having this turned on. This applies to TV, Apple TV, when you're watching a show or a movie and you have enhanced dialogue turned on. If you have voice isolation enabled, that will basically just make it so that you can hear the dialogue a lot better during those shows, which makes a difference when you have AirPods in your ears. Now, the next thing you need to do is change up some of your accessibility settings. So if you go into your AirPods settings and scroll down near the bottom, you will see we have accessibility. So go into there. So up top, we have press speed, and this applies to the speed of which you press on your AirPod stems. So if you want that to be slower, you can have that set to slow it down. And then same with the press and hold duration. If you want to not have to hold your AirPods as long when you do a press and hold gesture, you can change that to be shorter. And then right below that is something that's off by default, but I think should be on for most people, and that is noise cancellation with one AirPod. So if you only have one AirPod in, maybe if you're on a phone call or something like that, having noise cancellation on can be a big benefit. So if you have the ANC model, you might want to consider turning on ANC with one AirPod. And then below that, we have spatial audio head tracking. And this is is another setting that you will absolutely either love or hate. So what this does is the audio will follow your iPhone. So it's going to sound like it's coming from your iPhone. So if your iPhone is way to the left of you, the audio is going to sound like it's way to the left of you. So if you don't like that, this is where you can go ahead and turn that off. I personally do not have this turned on. It's a pretty cool feature, but it can be kind of annoying sometimes if your phone is not always directly in front of you. And by the way, you could always access this from the volume control as well. If you haptic press on that, you can change the spatial audio from fixed to head tracked, or you can turn spatial audio off completely. I would recommend always keeping spatial audio on, at least for me. I just think it sounds so much better, but I usually stick to fixed so that my audio doesn't sound like it's coming from, my phone. But again, that's a setting that will completely depend on your personal preference. I think it's pretty cool that it can track, and follow your iPhone, but if you don't like that, that's where you can turn it off. And then down here you have your tone volume as well, where you can change the tones of sound effects that are played on your AirPods. So if you don't like them being so loud, you can turn that down, which I personally do. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is keep an eye on your battery life. And the best way to do that is to add a widget to your home screen. So add a battery widget to the home screen and also to the lock screen. So if you haptic press or just tap and hold on the home screen, go to edit, go to add widget. You want to look for batteries or just search for batteries. And then you have 3 different sizes to choose from. So add one of those, and now you can always see at a glance what your AirPods battery life is at. Now also this applies to the lock screen as well. As you can see, mine is already right there, but if it's not, you can just press and hold, go to customize, go to your lock screen, and then tap in this section right here, and you can add a battery widget. So we're just going to remove this one, and we're going to add battery. And if it does not default to your AirPods, you can change this as well. So just tap on that. So we're going to tap again once we're here, and you can choose to not have automatic turned on, and you can manually select one of your devices. So in this case, AirPods 4, we'll select that and done. And now it's only going to show my AirPods 4 battery and this widget on the lock screen. Now the next thing you need to do is learn how to take your AirPods out of the case the right way. So I see people all the time trying to do this maneuver right here, where they go straight up top and they kind of have to move their hand around to just get the AirPod out, or some people try to go from the side and pull it out like this. I've seen all kinds of crazy things. The best way to take the AirPods out of the case is just take your finger on the back of the AirPod like this and just kind of push forward. So just push forward on the AirPods, and that's the easiest way to get them out of the case in my experience. So if you're somebody who loses things often, especially small things like AirPods, you're gonna love this next tip, and that is that you can track your AirPods and the AirPods case with Find My. And this is different, by the way, for the active noise cancellation model. You can track them better because they do also have a speaker built in to the bottom of the case, which means you'll be able to ping the case to find them. So anyways, go to your settings here, and you wanna go down until you see Find My Network. Make sure that is turned on, and then you can tap on Show in Find My, or just open up the Find My application. And then from here, you will get the option to play a sound from the case itself. So the case has speakers once again, so you'll hear that sound. And you can also do Find Nearby. So if you tap on that, it will go into this mode right here where it will track your case down and it will tell you how close it is. So it says it's within reach. And if I move it a little bit further away, it will say that it's nearby. And from here, I could tap on this little volume icon to send a sound to the case. So listen to this. And it will play a loud sound, as you heard from the AirPods case. It's pretty loud, so you'll hear it from a good distance away. But if you have the regular AirPods 4 and you don't have a speaker in your case, you can also play a sound from the AirPods themselves. Okay, so the next thing you need to do is try to figure out why I have these 2 objects on the screen right now. And that's because you need to know how to properly clean your AirPods. So Apple recommends cleaning the mesh section of your AirPods. So that is this section right here. Any of the mesh that you see throughout the AirPods, Apple recommends using this right here, which is micellar water plus a soft bristled children's toothbrush. So this is what Apple recommends. Apple does not recommend using alcohol or anything sharp on the actual mesh itself. So do not use that. Definitely do not use like a semi-jet tool or anything like that. That can really damage the mesh. But as for the body of the AirPods itself, the white part of the AirPods, you can just use a damp cloth or a microfiber towel to clean that up. And you do want to have it set out for 2 hours before putting it back in to the case to make sure no wetness gets in here. You don't want any wetness to get inside of those coils down there at the bottom of the case. And by the way, speaking of the case, you could also clean this with rubbing alcohol alcohol. So this is where you can use alcohol. So isopropyl alcohol you can put on here to kill germs and just clean it better. Just make sure it doesn't get down there near those coils at the bottom. And then the final thing you want to do on your AirPods 4 is to keep an eye on your hearing levels. So in your control center, tap on the plus in the top left and go to add control, and you want to search for hearing. And this hearing little ear right here, you want to add that to your control center because this is going to help you keep an eye on your sound levels. So once you see that in here and you're playing music or playing anything, tap and hold on that and you will see your headphone levels and the decibel reading, and if that headphone level is okay. You don't want to, have bad hearing in the future. You don't want to have hearing loss. So this is a good way to mitigate the potential for that. And if you go into the health application and go to hearing, this is where you can monitor your hearing levels over time. So you could also monitor your environmental sound levels, which is really fun to do on airplanes. And you could see if you had any sound reductions over the past, hour, day, week, all the way up to a year. And you can see details on that right here. So this can be very, very beneficial if you're trying to keep an eye on your audio and sound levels. And here's a little bonus feature I'll throw in here. We also have live listen. So if you turn this on, this will treat your iPhone as a microphone and it will send back the data, the sounds that your iPhone hears to your AirPods. So if your iPhone's in a separate room, but you want to hear what's going on, you can enable this and you'll be able to hear what's going on where your iPhone is, even if you're not in the same room. You just have your AirPods in your ears. So that can be pretty convenient in some scenarios. So those are the first things that you need to do on your AirPods 4, whether you have the regular AirPods 4 or the ANC model. So I hope this video was helpful. If it was, I would appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up. Also, make sure to subscribe for more AirPods coverage, and I will have my review coming soon on the AirPods 4. But anyways, guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.